Hey guys, welcome back to True Crime Talk with Mel. I hope you had a great weekend and it was nice outside and you were able to enjoy it. I live in Michigan where we have winter pretty much 9 months out of the year, so my daughter and I were outside enjoying the sun with our bare feet in the ground, and it was great. I feel recharged and ready for this week. So today we're going to be talking about the strange death of Todd Geib. Now, going through my dozens of cases that I eventually want to get to, I decided to do Todd because I feel like this case is one of the weirdest cases, and it's also very close to my town. So Todd was 22 years old. He had a good job, he loved his family, and everyone would say that he was just the nicest guy you could ever meet. Todd lived in the very small town, I'm talking 300 and some people, of Casanova, Michigan, which is about 20 miles north of Grand Rapids. On June 11, 2005, Todd was at the Cas bar with his friends. He left the bar at about 11:30 and headed to an outdoor keg party in an orchard. Now, if you're from this kind of area, you might be familiar with the term two-track road. Basically, this orchard was in the middle of the woods, and the only way to get there was by going down a two-track dirt road. So at around 12:45, the party started to get a little rowdy, fights were breaking out, and he told his friends that he was going to go home. So he started to walk towards his house, which was about 1.5 miles from the party. His friends didn't seem concerned that he was walking home by himself because they said that he didn't seem overly intoxicated and they knew that his house was pretty close. So here's where it starts to get a little weird. Between 12:47 and 12:57, he calls his friends and says, "I've had enough." And then again, he calls and says, "I'm in a field," before the phone goes dead. His friend was concerned and called him back. The phone did connect, but all she heard was either heavy breathing or the sound of wind. Todd's phone was never used again after that, and Todd was never seen again. So in the weeks that followed his disappearance, police had searched the orchard area and also the stretch of road where he would have been walking down several times. They said it was as if he vanished off the face of the earth. So on July 2nd, 2005, Todd Geib's body was found 3 weeks after he disappeared. His body was found in Ovid Hall Lake, which was right smack dab in the middle of the area that was searched several times. Now here is where it gets really weird. His body was found standing straight up in the water with his shoulders and his head above the water, almost as if he had gotten stuck in the sand and was just floating there. So an autopsy was done on Todd's body, and they found no external injuries, but he did have a blood alcohol level of 0.12, leading them to rule it an accidental drowning. But he had absolutely no water in his lungs. He was fully clothed and had his wallet still in his pocket. And for me, I think the strangest detail is that he was apparently exposed to the June and July sun for 3 weeks, yet according to his autopsy, was only dead for 2 to 5 days. Experts also found it strange that there was not more biofilm or insects present on his body. If he had been there the whole time, he would have been taken over by the elements. It was as if he had just been dropped there 2 to 5 days prior. So here's where I get into the possible theory. Some of you who follow true crime might be familiar with the Smiley face killer theory. For those who have never heard of this, dating back to, I want to say late 90s, early 2000s, there have been numerous young, athletic, handsome white men who have all disappeared and later found in bodies of water weeks later under suspicious circumstances. And all of these men were either at a bar or drinking with friends and left by themselves. The reason why it is called the smiley face killer theory is because around the area where the bodies are found, there are smiley faces painted or graffitied on a structure near them. So I have watched numerous documentaries and videos regarding this theory, and I will probably do like a whole separate video on this, but just to give you a glimpse of my opinion, I absolutely think that a lot of these disappearances with young men are connected. A lot of these accidental drownings just don't make any scientific sense to me. I feel like the smiley faces either could be coincidental or people going back to the scene and painting them there afterwards just to try to get people to believe that. In my opinion, I think that this theory should just have a different name. I think that calling them all smiley face killer victims takes away from the hard facts. I think that they are connected, but if anything, I think that it needs a new name to connect them, if you get what I'm saying. I'm just not convinced that the smiley faces are all from the alleged killers. I think when it comes down to it, all of these cases are so similar, and we need to focus on the scientific evidence, which points to them not being there the first time the area was checked and being dropped there at a later date. For me, it's just very hard to ignore the lack of decomposition, the lack of biofilm, and the fact that they weren't there the first, second, or third time the area was searched. It was later found out that Todd had a few different antidepressants in his system that he was not prescribed, and that if taken together with alcohol could have caused some sort of mental episode. Did he take them of his own free will? Which seems unlikely because he wasn't known to take things that he wasn't prescribed, or was he given them without his consent? I just hope that his family gets this case reopened and questions get answered, because I feel like there are so many unanswered questions, and they just decided it's an accidental drowning and wanted to close the case, even though he had no water in his lungs. This case honestly irritates me, and I really hope that with the reopening of other similar cases, Todd's case gets looked into more as well. If there are any updates to this, I will make sure to post them for you guys. If you're curious about the smiley face killers, there is a documentary on Oxygen, I believe, but at some point I do want to cover this, and I'm sure you can find, all you have to do is Google it, and you'll find more information. So what do you guys think? Do you think it was an accident or something else? I would love to hear your opinions in the comments. This is my case for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please remember to subscribe so I can help build my channel. Peace out.